And so it leads me to think about this idea, the danger of the toughen up lie. Now, toughen up or pull yourself up by your bootstraps may work in certain situations. I do definitely agree. There's some things in life that we do need just like to get through, to toughen up, to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Those are kind of in relation to those challenges, those obstacles, those setbacks that I talked about, that we fall 7, rise 8. We see those setbacks and those obstacles as opportunities for growth. So we can toughen up. We can pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. That's an awesome idea for those certain things in our life. But when talking specifically about depression or serious mental health conditions, the toughen up thing is very dangerous, and it's really not helpful in these circumstances, because we know based on the stats that men die by suicide at 4 times the rate of women. And so the message of, if you can't toughen up, there's something wrong with you, is a dangerous message to send to anyone, but perhaps especially dangerous to men craving direction. Now, men sometimes do need that message. Hey, dude, you got to pull yourselves up. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You got to get going. You got to get moving. You got to toughen up a little bit based on some of these obstacles or challenges that they might be facing in their life. But again, this is totally different. This is a serious bout of depression, and that message is dangerous, again, especially to men who might be craving direction, especially in the modern world. And so men, again, die by suicide at 4 times the rate of women. And the suicide rate of veterans is even higher. And so one of the driving forces behind that, as we might know, is that men sometimes don't seek help for their depression, or if they do seek help, it's not the correct help for their specific needs. And so instead, they might shove it down or do exactly what sort of these dummy, manosphere grifters advise, right? Just get back to work, right? That doesn't work for depression specifically. There needs to be some different things that go into there that make that make the tools that you apply to combating your depression. And so all the repression and faking it turns into pain, which leads to, cracks in the surface, which eventually leads to a total breakdown. And so when you are experiencing depression, the worst thing to do is try and white knuckle it alone. That's never going to work, because we know that mental illness arises from like a complex linking between one's genes and environment, and the triggers underlying its onset are often hard, if not impossible, to actually like pinpoint. And so not to mention the same personality traits and brain chemistry that underlie potentially our greatest gifts, for example, like the ability to think obsessively, feel deeply, and problem solve relentlessly, can also give rise to our most awful curses. Patreon is the home of our exclusive community where we do bonus episodes, live streams, Q&As, and merch discounts, and so much more. Patreon is the #1 way to support this podcast and to support my mental health nonprofit called You Are Loved.